The value, volume, and deals at the AFEX Commodities in the week ended November 29 were mostly in the red. But let's bring in Femi Kehinde, structuring and origination analyst at AFEX, to tell us more. Hi, Femi. Good to see you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, Femi, I can't hear you.
21. For the week, we actually saw a significant decline in the level of activities on the exchange in terms of the value traded, the volume traded, and the number of deals executed. For the value traded, the week actually experienced contracts valued at 1.7 billion naira, which represented a 7.5% decline week on week. For the volume traded, we actually saw a significant decline by 73% week on week, as the execution of 7.4 billion contracts were executed this week. For the number of deals, 136 deals were executed this week, which represented a 58% decline week on week. For the financial market, for the financial benchmarks on the exchange, the AFEX commodity index actually remained flat, remaining unchanged, returning the previous reported week value. However, the AFEX export index increased marginally by 0.05% to close the week at 190 basis points. For commodities traded across, for the trade or the distribution of commodities traded across all the commodities, we actually saw maize, paddy rice, and sorghum accounting for a bulk of the commodities traded this week, with maize accounting for 5.4 million contracts, and paddy rice accounting for 1.1 million contracts, and sorghum 1.04 million contracts. For the prices on the exchange, we actually experienced, sorghum actually had a beautiful week, gaining 8 naira as the commodity surged by 4.12% compared to the previous week to close the week at 211 naira per contract. However, for maize, we actually saw a decline of 5.12% as the commodity closed the week at 175 naira per contract. For paddy rice, we also saw a marginal decline of 0.11% to close the week at 119 naira per contract. However, other prices on the exchange remain the same. This includes cocoa, ginger, cashew, and sesame. For more on our report, you can actually visit our website, which is www.afexnigeria.com, or you can follow us on our social media at afexnigeria.com.
Okay, the month of November has just ended. We're in December now. How has commodities fared generally?
So compared to previous years, we have actually seen the pace at which commodities prices, especially for maize, soybean, paddy rice, and sorghum, actually increase at a faster pace. This is honestly in line with what we've reported in our commodities outlook, which is to say we have fewer commodities compared to last year, but more demand compared to the previous years. So we expect this trend to continue into the festive periods, as we know that more people are in the market in demand for these commodities, and honestly the demand for these commodities really outweighs the supply.
And what is your outlook concerning the effects of the festive periods on commodities prices?
Right, so if you look at the nature of maize and soybean, and you look at what the nature of sorghum, you understand that these commodities would actually be in more demand for this period. Why is that? Because during the festive period, we expect people to increase their consumption of poultry feed, because at the end of the year, we expect families and people, or the demand for chicken and poultry-related items to increase. As a result, we understand that the prices of these commodities will continue to surge upwards into the new year.
All right, thank you very much, Femi, for bringing us up to speed with those trading in the week. In the meantime, food loss continues to be a significant issue in Nigeria for a variety of reasons. Good food value chains are often not well developed in terms of poor production and processing techniques and a lack of technology and infrastructure. Now, these challenges contribute to significant food loss, worsening productivity of the country's agricultural sector. The managing director at AFEX Fair Trade, Mr. Kamaldeen Raji, will talk to us about some of the main causes, constraints, and opportunities for addressing food loss in Nigeria, and also propose some quick wins and solution. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamaldeen, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So one of the primary reasons of food losses has been recognized as lack of high quality inputs, talking about seeds and fertilizers. How do you think this has impacted our level of production and the post-harvest shelf life of commodities?
First, let us start with our last survey, which shows that there's a significant increase in adoption rates and application of fertilizer and seed. But generally, from all journals of extension and agronomy, we've seen that a lot of our farmers will prefer to use grains in place of certified seed, and that is really affecting production and output. The truth is this, we need to put a concerted effort towards seeing that whatever we are producing in Nigeria is matching up with what we consume. Today, production is on the increase empirically, but it is so obvious that what we consume as a nation, as a growing nation, with a good number of increase, a good percentage of increase in the population is still low, and that is a problem. We are fighting the food security very well, but we need to start another battle, which is the nutrition security. That is, we need to at least bring to the table a balanced food sheet that shows to the world and everybody how best we can do what we are doing better. And that simply means that there needs to be a concerted effort from both the private and the public sectors. That is, construction, making sure that infrastructural amenities are in place. And that is ensuring that there are enough warehouse construction around the key primary producing areas, and there are silo construction across the other side of the processing side, which we have a very good impact on the cost of production. So this, with all this, we need to fight the battle well and be able to sensitize the farmers, take extension to them, to wherever we find them, start with the farmers, ensuring adoption is higher, and ensuring that they adhere to good agronomic practice.
Now, poor handling and storage of commodities after harvesting is aggravated by the constraints of small farmers, lack of access to credit facility, now which results in food losses. In what ways do you think these obstacles can be overcome?
These are problems, and it's a age-long problem as far as agriculture is concerned. Our people are very conservative. When I say people, our farmers, they are very conservative. They hardly adopt new practices. You know, before now, we have barns, and we have our rooftop where our forebearers used to keep their harvest. And today, a farmer that is using a viable seed and getting up to like 2, 3, 4 tons from an hectare of maize cannot keep it on his roof. So we need to start siting warehouses closer to keep primary production areas. We all need to do a very robust analysis of where are the production areas and where are the processing areas, so that we can balance this out. So as soon as AFEX is done, we need to take extension to them. That's key education on post-harvest handling and what should be done to reduce some infestation, and how to best store in probably a private owner warehouses where they can pay as little as possible to be able to get the same weight, the same quality across the year. And this needs to come with a lot of education. We need to increase the number of extension to farmers. Presently in the AFEX, we do like 1 extension to 400, which is the lowest you can see across Nigeria now, because you hardly see 1 extension with less than 4,000 or 5,000 farmers. And we need to do more on extension officers, get more people to do that, and get the right education to the farmer. Handling is very important, and we need to work very hard on it. And this simply means that we need to involve ourselves in a pictorial display of what should be done and when what steps should be taken. And this needs to be very, very well driven by national policy. If not, all the effort might just go down the drain.
Now, adoption of technological efforts in agriculture, such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, and drones, has the potential, to reduce food losses and also attract more Nigerian youths to engage in and assume responsibility for agriculture. However, what are the direct approaches to enhancing technological efforts in Nigeria's agriculture space?
I think, thank you for that question. The best solution or the best approach is still the extension rate. The extension rate, and if we continue that way, we know the adoption rate will still be lower. It's slow and low, but steadily we should get there. The use of AI, blockchain and others, even the adoption of zero tillage is still having a big impact on our farmers. Out of 100, you hardly see up to 5 adopting that, and that's a big one. If you can reduce man time on the farmland using drone to spray, to apply fertilizer, using drone to apply water during holidays, and during the dry season using as well as some irrigation system, will really impact on our production cycle. And the best approach is if we can reduce the number of farmers to extension officer. That is, if everybody adopt that rate and make sure that there is continuous engagement with farmers so that we can check and we can check the adoption rate. Another thing is that we need to start citing trial plots, trial and demo very close to core primary production. We should not put all efforts in one basket. That is, we need to spread it thin and make sure that it moves around the core producing areas. Everybody's looking at one direction, and we can see today that the rate of adoption from that very particular direction is moving high, but other places are not. And if you take one out of like over 10,000 communities that are farming year in, year out, then it means we are just dropping a very small piece of water, drop of water rather, in an ocean. We need to spread out, take the evangelism to everybody, and make sure that, okay, if you get to use this is what you get at the end of the day. It's like you adopting a viable seed today and say, okay, instead of getting 12, 16 bags, you now get like 60 bags. Nobody will ever hear of that and will not be able to adopt. We need to take the gospel to them to make them understand the reasons behind all this and and why we need to start moving up the chain.
Now, what can private market players like AFEX do to reduce food losses in the country? It
will not be out of place if I say that AFEX is doing very well in this aspect, and I'm very sure that we need to start encouraging some other active private sectors to adopt the same. One is today we have a lot of technology like the workbench, COMEX and everything, and you don't need to be a primary producer before you partake in agriculture. And if you are a village farmer located in a rural area, since you can access to your phone and you can make calls, you can get price updates, you can do some other things. We have warehouses well sited closely to the core producing areas, but you know that AFEX cannot solve all the problem across all the value chains in agriculture. But we are selecting some key areas where we think it is very necessary to start working on. Everybody knows today that apart from rice, maize is the next thing. And what are we doing about maize and paddy rice farmers? Then what do we do about soybeans? We need to make sure that they can access a market at the right time. They have right to the best price ever. They can bridge the gap between the processors and themselves, the smallholder farmers. They know what the processor is doing and what they need, and that will really help them in producing what the LPO is saying from any processor today. So from AFEX, we are doing everything possible technology-wise and making sure that the adoption rate to make a better Nigeria agriculture-wise is done and being adopted well.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kamaldeen Raju. We do appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much.